Let's talk for 30. Where you at on your journey? Tell me what you learning. What's your line of business? How you make your earnings? Do you give back to your city or educate the ones that listen? Time to show them how to get it. Give the people what they missing. Let's talk for 30. Let's talk for 30. Let's talk for 30. Let's talk for 30. What's your line of business? How you make your earnings? Let's talk for 30. Drina.
Welcome to Talk for 30, a platform for individuals to share their life stories, journeys, and passions with us. Today I have LaKeya Collins here with me. Introduce yourself and tell everybody about yourself.
Hi, I'm LaKeya Collins. I am the owner of Robert's Angel Scrubs, and I've been a nurse for 19 years.
Let's start off by getting to know you. Are you from Georgia?
I'm actually not from Georgia. I'm actually from New Jersey. God brought me to Georgia when I was 25 years old, and I was here raising my kids and went to nursing school, and from there, this is where I've been.
Tell me about your childhood before coming to Georgia, growing up.
I'm the oldest of 5. My mother got pregnant with me at 15, so it was almost like, your sister raising you. She was deep in the church, though, as she grew older, so I was raised in the church. My father wasn't really involved in our life, so I didn't really establish a relationship with him until I grew older. So I made some trials and errors due to lack of fatherhood in my life, and from there, basically just a basic childhood.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what led from that transition to Georgia?
Well, okay, so after I went to high school, I graduated, went to college, of course, and got into some legal trouble.
Okay.
And single mom, was facing some jail time due to some physical altercations, and I made a decision after speaking to a gentleman that I was working with to move to Georgia. I was 25 years old, took a leap out on faith, got my income tax check, and brought me and my 2 children here.
Just you and your 2 kids?
Just myself, no family here, no friends, just uprooted and came with the income tax.
Wow. And
yes.
How did Augusta?
So now that is really weird because I was initially supposed to go to Atlanta,
okay.
But like I said, I was 25 with no real money. I was looking for apartments in Atlanta. Of course, they were just like way above my budget. And this one particular day, a pop-up, I had never even heard of Augusta, came up, and it was like apartments for $399, and I was like, $399, and it said Savannah West. And I called Savannah West, and I said, is this like the hood? And they were like, no, it's actually a nice area. We're across the street from the Nationals. And I said, you know what, this is where I'm coming. And I signed the lease, and I came a few months later.
What was your experience like moving to Georgia, just you and the kids?
Oh man, I'll say, because even though I was raised in church, I hadn't truly had an experience with God yet. So even though I knew it was a move from God, my faith wasn't where it needed to be, where it is at 47. So it's kind of different. So it was really scary. Again, I had no family, no friends. All I had was myself and my 2 children. And it wasn't like I was an hour away from home, 2 hours. I was literally 12 hours driving distance away from home. And when I tell you, when God uses an experience and he sends you to a place, he's going to send the people. And when I tell you, there were people, my neighbors, he put me in contact with people who were not friends, but were family. They were there to, watch my children, there to assist me with whatever I need. And to this day, 25 years later, they're still here. So it was a move of God, definitely a move of God.
Do you believe in stepping out on faith?
Oh yes, I believe. I'm a faith walker. I feel like that's all I got. I got my faith. Yes, I'm definitely believing in stepping on faith.
I am a firm believer.
Yes.
As well. What obstacles have you faced with starting a business?
I would say the biggest one with the brick and mortar is staff. Because it's not just like a business for me. Again, it's my purpose. So when people walk in, a lot of people, they want scrubs, but more than anything, they want the experience. They want to meet me. They heard my story. Somebody told them about me. And so if I'm not there, They want the face of me. And so I have to be very careful of who I hire, who's the face of me when I'm not there. Are they giving the right image and portraying the right legacy of my son? And I think that has been the biggest obstacle for me, is making sure that God plants the right people in position for me.
Okay. And how do you overcome that? Are you constantly recruiting? Or
well, no, because I don't like turnovers a lot. I've had four staff. The first one was amazing. The second one, but what I did was I went on a fast. I shut my store down. Wasn't about money, wasn't about profit. I shut my store down and I went on a fast. And I said, God, you gave me this. I threw it back at him. You told me to open this store. You gave me this vision. I said, you got to put the right people in here. And one particular day, this lady knocked, I had my phone number up there because even though I was closed, if they needed me, I would come meet them. And she comes, she says, hey, why aren't you never open? I need scrubs. And I told her, I said, I don't have a good one. She said, no, my daughter would be perfect for this job. No, we know your story. And I met her and she came right in and she knew my vision, my dream. She's the front. And one person told me, she said, girl, she says your story better than you can say it. And I knew that was her.
She's the right one.
Yeah,
right
exactly.
One. Well, you asked for it.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
What plans did you have moving to Georgia?
Well, I knew that I wanted to be a nurse. When I was 8 years old, I got bit by a dog, and I encountered these amazing nurses that really helped me get through the process. And I knew at that moment I wanted to be a nurse. Of course, once I got into college and I went through that, those obstacles with fighting and getting in trouble, nursing had always been on the forefront. So my goals were, when I get to Georgia, I should be focused, no distractions, and I'm signing up for nursing school. I took $25, went to Augusta Tech, and I signed up that first week. And I completed nursing school within 2 years of I became an LPN within 2 years.
Wow, you had a plan.
Yes.
And you definitely conquered it. How were you feeling?
It was very emotional. Again, I had never been that far away from family, friends, so it was scary. It was really an emotional ride. I used my faith a lot of the time to get me over days I wanted to go back home, days I struggled financially with no support with the children as far as financial. So a lot of times I just prayed and I kept my faith and I stayed with it.
Yeah, because that's a lot to think about. Being a mom of toddlers, and then enrolling in school, who's going to watch them. That's a lot of emotion, a lot of things to think about. Was the enrollment easy for you?
It wasn't so much easy. No, again, because I still had to work. I still had, the children, they were toddlers. I still had to, provide, financially for them alone and still maintain a decent GPA while going to school and, trying to overcome all that. So no, it wasn't really easy at all. I would never lie and say it was.
I could imagine. I could imagine. Did you have your job before you got here, or?
I didn't. Everything was a faith move. The only thing I actually had was an apartment. I had somewhere to lay my head. That was it. And I came from, prior to becoming a nurse, I was into the hotel industry. So I was a front desk manager. So I was able to quickly link a job at a hotel front desk. And I was able to do that while I went through nursing school.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
How did you balance being a student, working, and mom?
Again,
A lot.
I feel like when God sends you somewhere, He'll have if He gives you the plan, He's gonna make provision for you. So there were people set in place that already were lined up. With nights I had to study, or I had to do this, or get my son picked up, or my daughter picked up. I had friends who helped me. It wasn't a solo journey. He placed people in my life. My son went to daycare. He was 2 at the time, and the daycare worker just fell in love with him. And she would actually, on the weekends, pick him up to almost like give me a break and help me. And she would take him, to Chuck E. Cheese and do little, church. So, that was just a blessing. He would put people in my life to do such things.
He already has it written out for you.
Yes.
I always say that.
Yes.
And at the moment of you walking across that stage,
Oh, man.
how did that feel?
Amazing. Amazing. Not even so much of becoming a nurse, it was so much completing. At that point in my life, I had not completed anything, finalized anything. It was always you start, you stop, because distractions. I was always getting sidetracked or distracted. So it was such a blessing to be able to finally complete something with so many barriers and so many obstacles that came my way. So it was such a blessing to be able to complete it.
And at any point, did it make you look back at where you came from and want to go back?
No, absolutely. Right. It made me want to go forward. Yeah. I look back and I was like, wow. And I would go back, I would actually go back to New Jersey, and people I grew up with who are still there, and I'd be like, wow, you're still doing the same thing, still not accomplishing. Not that I looked down on them, but I was like, I could have been stuck here if if God had not given me the plan to do what I, did by moving to Georgia. So it was just a blessing.
And sometimes, well, not sometimes, but things do happen for a reason.
Yes.
And I noticed that you said it was a situation that you got into, and you were looking at some time in jail.
Exactly.
But had you not had that
experience, I wouldn't be here.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yep.
I know life has challenging moments. Share with us the day of April 24th, 2016, when things changed for you.
Well,
and did I get that date?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's right. So after completing my LPN, I knew that I wanted to go further and complete my RN. So of course, I went back to school along the years. I failed out of one program. My grandmother got terminally ill, so I had to help her. 2014, I went back and I said, you know what? I'm completing my RN. I don't care what comes, what obstacles. I am steadfast. And I went to school part-time and worked full-time. And by this time, I had 3 kids. So I was a single mother of 3. And April 24, 2016, I passed my last final RN exam, my final online. That morning, I got up and took it around, I think, 6 a.m. because it was a Sunday. I was going to go to church. And I said, I'm going to take this before church. I'm not going to wait till after. And I passed it. And so there it was. I just had to finish the NCLEX. And went to church that day. And my oldest son, he was 16, he had watched his brother the day before, his little brother, because I had to work and I was studying for a final, and he asked, could he dismiss himself from church? I've never allowed my kids to dismiss themselves from church. I said, absolutely not. He begged, Mom, everybody's all the football teams getting together, having a cookout. And I said, you know what, Rob, you can go to the cookout, that's fine. And so me and my younger son, my daughter was in college at this time, me and my younger son went to church and came home, took a nap, and I got this, I was dreaming. I had this eerie feeling, and I woke up and I checked my phone, and there was over 30, 40 missed calls on my phone. And as I'm strolling through the calls, my daughter was actually calling as I'm trying to see why are these missed calls on my phone. And my daughter, I pick up, and my daughter's screaming at the top of her lungs. And I just knew, I didn't know what, but I knew something wasn't right. And she said, Mommy, Robert drowned. And in that moment, my whole life turned upside down. And my son drowned. I found out later that they were at the cookout and somebody made a decision to go to the lake. And once they got to the lake, somebody made a decision to go swim to the next island. And when they swam to the next island, a current came and he couldn't swim out of it. So the best day and the worst day of my life. I completed my RN. I lost my son. So in that moment, they say you can't question God, but I say until you experience something that's inhumane, and losing a child is something is inhumane. Until you experience it's inhumane, and it's unbelievable that a mother can survive it. I questioned. I said, how, why? It was just it was a ball of emotions, a ball of confusion.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine.
Yeah.
And I know that's something that's going to forever be in you, and that you'll have to deal with. How are you coping with it?
Well, it's been 7 years now. It's something that you never get over. I tell people, you learn to get through, because you learn really quickly after the funeral. Life goes on for everybody. Doesn't stop. Bills keep coming. Friends, okay, they stop checking on you as much. They expect you to, come on, girl, let's go out. And if you don't keep going, you will lose yourself. You will lose your identity. You will lose everything. And so, again, this was the time that faith that God had given me from a little girl. I said, God, I need it. I need that faith. If you brought me to this, I need you to bring me through it. I still have another child to raise, 6 years old. So I have a daughter in college who's fine, but I have this child that I still have the mother that deserves a mother. And at that moment, I didn't know how to be a mother anymore. I was lost in my grief. And so I used my faith. And I know, as cliche as it sounds, I used my faith.
No, faith is strong.
Yeah.
When you have it, it's strong.
Yes.
How many children do you have?
I have 3. Robert was the middle. My daughter, Elise, and Robert was the middle, and then I have a son, Bryson.
And at the time, their ages were?
Elise was 19. It was her first year in college.
Okay.
And Robert was 16. He was in 10th grade at Greenbrier, and Bryson was 6.
Okay. And how old are they now?
Elise is 26. Robert will be 23, and Bryson is 13.
Okay. What about the siblings? How are they dealing with it?
My daughter, very difficult. Extremely. Her and I guess, I was dealing with my grief, she's dealing with her grief. So we kind of grieved separately. She didn't agree with my grief, I didn't agree with her grief. Mm-hmm. And me and her kind of bumped heads, and we went some time without speaking. So God had to deal with that. Well, the first year Robert passed, I had to battle with her. She attempted suicide on his 1-year anniversary, 2017. And she had text me goodbye, text my mom. And so she was in college and drove down there, and the cops finally found her overdosed. And so that was just something in itself. So mind you, I'm still trying to deal with getting back up from Robert, and then here I am dealing with my daughter. And she was placed away for a while, and we had to get her help to get through her grief and everything, her pain. And I knew that, because I was so stuck in my pain, and I didn't know how to just be a mom anymore. And that was my biggest thing. I was such a good mom, and then after this happened, it was just like everything, just like I don't know how to be a mom no more. Like I'm just so focused on my pain that I can't care for my kids anymore. And so I said, God, you got to turn this around. I got to be here for my other kids. I got 2 living kids that need me, and I don't know how to be there for them and be here for me, and just still miss Rob and feel like I didn't desert him. It was so much going on, and God began to transition. It just, and I don't want to say it was overnight, but it felt like it was overnight. Just transitioning, just strengthening me, because that's what I needed. I needed strength. There was not a medication. There was nothing the doctor could order that could get this pain out. You know how like you might have fracture your leg, and you say, I'm gonna give you some Percocet. There was nothing. They could give me something to knock me out, to numb me, but there was nothing that could relieve this pain. And eventually God just began to strengthen me so I could be there for her the way I needed to be there for her. My youngest son, they said children are the most resilient, and that's true. Robert was his best friend. Robert taught him how to tie a shoe. He taught him how to play football. First person to play. So that was his best friend. He slept with Robert since he was like a year old. And his thing was Robert was excellent on the football field. He was a quarterback, running back, and he was amazing, number 29. So Bryson had just started playing football. So his thing is, I'm going to honor Rob on the football field. And so this is what he does. This is his grief. He takes it out on football. So every year he wears number 29, and he's running back, and he prides himself in making his brother proud in that way.
His brother proud.
Yeah.
And you want to share what green means to you? The color green?
Yeah. So Robert's favorite color when he's 2 years old. Robert, what's your favorite color? And he would say green. And I'll say, Rob, why you love green so much? And he said, Mom, money's green. I'm going to be rich one day. And so that always stuck with him. So green was his absolute favorite color.
All right.
Yeah,
and green is my favorite color,
wow.
too. Tell us about Robert, his personality.
Oh, man.
Share with everybody.
Robert was, I know it sounds cliche, just if perfection had a face, it would be him. Straight A student. From the moment he walked in school, he never brought home less than an A. just infectious. Just the idea of the kind of character he had. When he was in 8th grade, there was a little girl who had a crush on him. She had cerebral palsy, and he had a girlfriend from the, he thought he had a girlfriend from the time he was in 6th grade, and he was actually with the same girl when he drowned when he was in 10th grade. They had been dating since they were like 12. Aww. And he wanted to, he went to the little dance with his girlfriend, and the little girl was standing over. She had a crush on Robert, and he told his little girlfriend, I'm gonna dance with her first. And the mom was so excited, so she called me. She was like, thank you, that made my daughter's night. Thank your son so much for doing that. And then one year he was like maybe 10, and he played ball at the YMCA, and a little boy had Down syndrome on his team, and Robert will always hand this little boy the ball during the game and give him an opportunity to shoot. Oh. And one day he made the basket, and I mean his parents ran down and they hugged Robert right in the middle of the game. So that's just an idea of the character. I tell people all the time I do a lot of give backs in the community. People say, well, why you do the sneaker drive? One year Robert came home, he had a shoe fetish, and I would spend money on his shoes, and he didn't have his shoes. I'm like, Rob, where's your shoes? And I'm yelling at him, and he's like, Mom, the little boy, he didn't have no shoes, and he gave his shoes to no decent shoes. He got his brand new shoes to this little boy.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was, and he was only like 13. So that was the kind of character. If that just, I'll just say this: when Robert passed, his legacy was greater than a man that had lived 70, 80 years. I've heard so many people say, he changed this in my life. The principal, the football coaches, the pastors, just, he had imparted so much in so many different people, including myself as a mom. He's brought, when I get upset, Mom, you gotta take some deep breaths. You gotta chill out sometime. I'm like, boy, sit back. I'm the mom. So, yeah.
So when you think about him, what brings you the biggest smile?
The person he was.
Just the person he was.
The person he was, yes.
Okay. Even during your time of obstacles, you have started a business. Share the inspiration behind your business.
Well, you were asking me, how did I get through? During the grieving process, God would often give me dreams. He would give me visions. He would send prophetic messages. And I guess that was his way to say, I haven't forgotten about you. Back in 2017 or 18, I had my first dream from Robert. And I was a nurse, and Robert would always iron my scrubs. He was such a great ironer. He was the one press your scrubs and put the creases in them. And he would always iron my scrubs. And he came to me in a dream. He said, Mom, I want you to design wrinkle-free scrubs, and I want you to name them Robert's Angels. And God sent the message through my son because he knew I would pay attention. And so I said, Robert, I can't do that. I don't even know anything. I'm a nurse. I don't know anything about designing. And later on, months and months, he would begin to give me ideas, suggestions, down to manufacturers and the vision and the dreams. And when COVID started, I jump-started the business.
And been going ever since.
It's been going ever since.
And share the name of it again.
It's Robert's Angel Scrubs.
And where are you located?
We are located at 3558 Windsor Spring Road, Suite A. We're actually opening our mobile scrubs shop in October as well.
All right, all right. Was there ever a point that you felt like you wanted to give up yourself?
Oh, definitely. Oh, man. Especially after my daughter's break. I went down to the 15th Street Bridge and I told God, I can't do this. Really? This is too big. I can't do this. And I even recorded myself doing so because God said to me, he said, Key, all is not lost. And he said, all is not lost. And I said, everything has to be lost because I can't understand how you can give me back a house, a car, you can lose a job, and you can get all that back. You can't get back the pain of losing a child. And God just continues to say, all is not lost. And I actually wrote an autobiography and named it All Is Not Lost because he told me that day on the bridge. And he said, if you trust me, all is not lost. And I'm so glad I trust him. Mm-hmm. So now I make it a habit of speaking with other mothers who feel like, the pain is too big. The pain is too great. I can't get through this. And I feel like there is nothing that we can't get through in life if we keep God centered and first. The thing about pain, it builds purpose. Every morning that we get up and we should have purpose. I used to get purpose and a gift mixed up. Nursing is my gift. That's what God gave me. I'm good at it. I'm excellent at it. But what I do now is purpose. It's why I get up. It's why my heart beats. It's why I live. And I thank God that I have purpose.
Yes.
And that's what he meant when he said, all is not lost.
And that day when you went to 15th Street Bridge, was that something that just came to your mind, or was it something that was contemplating with you?
I was tired. I was tired emotionally, mentally. When I say tired, I had never been so tired in all my life. I was tired. I was just tired of living. I was tired of enduring. I was tired of waking up with the same pain, and that felt like it would never leave. And I tell people this I'm in psych for that reason now. I work psych for that reason now. I tell people all the time, pain is just like seasons, like how we have fall, winter, spring. Nothing stays the same if we just live long enough to see it through. Sometimes we say, oh, it's so hot, this summer's so hot. But if we give a chance for October to come, it's going to cool down. And that's how it is. Sometimes some people's seasons are longer than others. But we got to just trust God.
Yeah, trust God.
Trust God through it.
That is true. Yeah. That is true. Did you speak with anyone? Or did you?
Oh, gosh, yes.
Didn't help?
No. No, I don't want to say it didn't help.
Yeah.
But some things are just God. I'm giving God all his credit. Some things it's just all. There was no Ativan, there was no Valium, there was no Lexapro, there was nothing that helped but God. Now, was I talking to certain people? It was relief at that time, but God gets all this credit. Everything.
Okay.
Everything, every ounce of it.
Yeah. And what about your support system? Because I know your family wasn't here.
When I moved down here, a couple of years later, my mother went through a divorce and she moved here.
Wow.
Yeah, so she moved here in 2007. My grandmother, who had got terminally ill, once she retired in 2008, she moved here. And my mom's oldest sister moved here. And my brother moved, so they basically follow me. Wow. So I have family here. Yeah, I have my sister. Good. I have my family here. Okay. Yeah, so I have family here.
Support system. Okay. Yeah. Good. They followed you, huh?
Yeah, they followed me. Unfortunately.
To honor your son, you stated that you started a shoe drive. Please share about the shoe drive.
There's a few things. One thing that I've always taught my kids to be a giver, a give back. Even when I didn't have much, I always realized, you got to pay your tithes. You got to give back. You got to, if you're faithful, if you got to make you a warder of many. And so I've always taught my kids, we might not have much of this, but we're going to give this in return. And so all my kids, I thank God for that, are givers. They are givers, every last one of them. So I knew that I wanted to honor Robert in a way to give back. I felt like I'm going to open this business in our community. I wanted to make sure it was in our African American community, and they're sewing into my business. I got to give back into my community. So I started Robert's Angels nonprofit, and what we do, we feed the homeless. We also do a toy drive during Christmas. We do a back to school sneaker drive, and that was initiated from Robert giving away his sneakers. So this year we actually gave away over 200 plus new sneakers, Nike, Adidas, Jordans, all kinds, to the community. We did braids, we did haircuts, gave out hamburgers, all this stuff. And it wasn't that I purchased this stuff out of my pocket. It's people who sow into me. I said, and they sow right back into me. So I thank God for that. And then, so that's.
Now, was this your first drive? This was your second drive?
This was the second one.
What about the first drive? What were the goals for that one?
It was 50, and God, we did 63 sneakers.
Exceeded.
But the thing was, I had to turn over 30 kids away last year, and that bothered me so bad. And I prayed. I said, God, I don't want to turn any kids away this year. And God made it so that we didn't have to turn any kids away.
He made a way.
Yep.
He made a way.
Yes, he did.
You're also an author. Your first book is titled All Is Not Lost.
Yes.
Share about that. Tell us more about your book.
So, as I was going through this battle with grieving, I was journaling. I was video recording. I was journaling because, like I said, God was saying, you're going to survive. And I just couldn't believe it. So I said, I'm going to put this thing back on him. You said this on this date, so why haven't I overcome it? So I wanted to have my proof. And I would journal. And just as I'm journaling, I'm like, this sounds like a book. Like, this is, like, I've been through this, I've been through that. I need to start writing. I just started writing. And people started, as, time going on, people would message me, people would call me, you're inspiring me, you're getting up to do this. How did you do this? How did you do that? And I said, you know what, let me put this in a book. People need to know and hear and be honest. I think so many times we're so ashamed of what we went through or go through that we don't know who we can help. If we're just honest and upfront with them and say, you know what, I've been through this. God has brought me through this. There's hope. Look at me now. So I felt like I wanted to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you did that.
Thank you.
You did that.
Thank you.
Share where we can find or purchase a copy of your book.
You can actually get it on my website, robertsangelscrubs.com, or you can get it on Amazon or in the store, at my store.
Okay. And we're going to put all of our information in the description so you'll be able to find it there as well. Let's talk about Robert's Law.
Yes.
Please share with our viewers. About
Okay,
it.
so as you know, I told you all that Robert went to the lake without my permission. I didn't know my son was there. He was out there with a bunch of 15 and 16-year-olds, minors. Paid $5 to go to his death without any adult supervision. When I found out that my son was at a public lake with no lifeguards, was able to swim outside the buoys with nobody to redirect them, no life vests available, it angered me. It made me upset because we give our kids laws for driving, for all these other things, but we just allow our kids to go on these lakes, and we know that children the ages from 1 to 5, drowning is the number one thing. So why don't we have life vests? Why don't we have lifeguards at these public places? And so Robert's Law would basically be a law that implements lifeguards at all public lakes. No child under the age of 17 would be permitted to get into a public lake without an adult, and life vests are readily available.
Okay. How do you find time to relax and reflect?
I don't, and that's why everybody's getting on me. I have not relaxed, and it's looking like it's getting crazier and crazier. But I do try to, I'm big on taking my kids on vacation. That's something that I always felt like, we always get out, we deal with this rough of day-to-day world, so I always take my kids on vacation. So I think that's some R&R. I get to reflect with them and, spend time with them. So I think that's the biggest thing for me.
Where do your kids like to go on vacation?
Oh, girl.
What's their favorite spot?
Everywhere. We went to Hawaii last year, Jamaica. We're going to Dubai next month. Thailand. We travel. So yeah, they just love vacationing. Yeah, that's especially good. My daughter. Yeah, she loves it.
That's good.
Yeah.
You are a very inspiring individual who has accomplished many goals. Even in the midst of your obstacles, you have so much inspiration behind you. Do you feel successful?
No, I don't feel like I've arrived at all yet. No, not at all.
Do you have more goals?
Oh, yeah. And when people always say, yes, you're, I don't even think I've touched the surface. That's how much is inside of me that is being birthed.
So you got a lot more to give.
Yes.
With all the goals that you have accomplished thus far, which one impacts you the most?
My son's legacy. Robert's Angels. And it has nothing to do with the Scrubs.
The shoe drive. Just
the community. Everything. Like, I can't believe I'm doing it. And I smile every time I think about it.
Yeah, it gives you that smile.
Yes.
You're smiling now.
Yeah, because I'm like what I'm doing now, I never would be doing it. So I know it's him. Oh, God, no. Yeah, so it's keeping his legacy alive.
That's right. That's good.
Yeah.
What advice would you have for anyone that may have experienced child loss and they're at a place where they think they want to give up and they can't see past that moment.
Yes.
What advice would you give?
My advice to anyone, stay there as long as you need to. I wish somebody would have said it's okay to be there, but don't forget why you have to get up. I think sometimes we so focused on the person staying in their grief that we don't give them enough time to grieve it. But I think in their own power, their own will, they'll get up, they'll get through it, and they'll push. And they got to find that why. I think once they find that why, that'll help them get through it. Yeah, I think once they find that why.
There's no time on grief.
There's no time. I still grieve at 7 years. I still grieve. I know how to manage it now, though. I know how to cry. I used to know how to cry and come through it. I had to call out of work. I know how to cry, get up, go get a shower, get my hair done. I know how to do that now. When you're impossible. So it's okay to stay there. But just remember, you got to get up.
Got to get up.
Yeah.
Got to get up. You are a very strong individual.
Oh, thank you.
Very strong. So much. Is there anything else you would like to share with our viewers about you, your journey, your story, your book?
No, that's all. That great.
Robert.
Robert. I just want to tell my viewers, anybody who knows me, I don't want to cry.
It's okay. It's okay, because that is something we have to do too, is when we're in that moment, we have to recognize our emotions. It's okay. It's natural.
I just want to tell my viewers, a lot of people that know me, without y'all, I wouldn't be here. I know God has placed so much support in my life, and the way you guys push me, even if I don't get a chance to inbox you back, just the inspirational message telling me to keep going, that you see me here, you watching, it's all inspiring for me. It gives me strength to know that God still has me on this mission. I have support and people who are encouraging me. And my ultimate goal is to get back to my son one day. So I got to keep doing God's work. And I just want to say thank y'all so much.
Yes. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for sharing with us.
Absolutely.
Thank you for allowing me
absolutely.
the opportunity to share your story.
Absolutely.
I'm so grateful.
Oh, absolutely.
I am so grateful.
Absolutely.
You look beautiful.
You do too.
You look so pretty. Okay, guys. I hope we got to end this.
I know. We'll be here all day.
I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope that it was inspiring to you in some way. If you would like to be on Talk for 30, just contact me and we can sit and talk for 30. Again, I will put all of her information in the description below. And bye.
Or educate the ones that listen. Time to show them how to get it. Give the people what they missing. Let's talk for 30. 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 Drina. Let's talk for 30. Where you at on your journey? Tell me what you learning. What's your line of business? How you make your earnings? Do you give back to your city? Or educate the ones that listen? Time to show them how to get it. Give the people what they missing. Let's talk for 30. Let's talk for 30. Let's talk for 30. Let's talk for 30. What's your line of business? How you make your earnings? Let's talk for 30. Drina. Let's talk for 30. Where you at on your journey? Tell me what you learning. What's your line of business? How you make your earnings? Do you give back to your city? Or educate the ones that listen? Time to show them how to get it. Give the people what they missing. Let's talk for 30. 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 Drina.